Hi, my name is Keith Nitka. I'm the Battleship Operations Manager here on board Battleship Wisconsin. And I want to thank you again for joining me on another Wisky Wednesday virtual tour here on board the Battleship. This one is going to be a little different, it's out of the norm, so to speak. You may notice or recognize the space that we're in now from one of the very first virtual adventures that we did so many months ago. Right now we're in the chart room of the 08 level pilot house. And we're here today because many years ago, before I was the Battleship Operations Manager, I was a second-class quartermaster in the United States Navy, and I served aboard Battleship Wisconsin during Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And we're standing in my general quarters space. General quarters, for those of you that don't know, is when we go to battle stations. Ring the bells, the alarms go off, and all the sailors go to their general quarters or battle stations. The 08 level pilot house was my battle station. We're here today because this coming Sunday, January 17th, marks the 30th anniversary of the start of Desert Storm. Desert Storm, of course, is what became after Desert Shield didn't work with the talks trying to get Saddam Hussein to leave the country of Kuwait. So the coalition forces, President Bush at the time, gave them a resolution and said that you need to be out of the country by January 15th, 1991, or Desert Storm, the battle would start, and we would forcibly remove you from the country. They still talked a little bit after the deadline passed, but here on board Battleship Wisconsin, we were gearing up and getting ready to go to war. I'm going to take you back a little bit in time on that day, because I did something that a lot of men, and in today's world, a lot of women do. Before they go to combat for the very first time, they pen a letter home. So I actually have that letter here. I wanted to read you a little bit of it. It's dated 16 January 1991. And I wrote it to my parents, my grandmother and my sister, who were back home in New Hampshire at the time. Hello, how are you all? I am well, and I miss you a lot. It's now 10:49 p.m. We are underway. In approximately 2.5 hours, war is going to break out. Ourselves and every other ship out here are going to launch our missiles at exactly 1:24 a.m. local time, just in time for the evening news in the States. Don't worry. I am sure myself and everyone here will be fine. Then I wrote a little bit more, some personal stuff to my father, and then I finished off with, as for tonight, do not worry, I will be all right, and will also be keeping a record of this evening's events. Now I must go get a little sleep. I love you all and miss you all. Don't worry, and hopefully the next time we talk, I'll be in the pier in Norfolk. So of course that didn't happen as soon as possible, but it did eventually happen. So on 16 January that day, we had a lot of reporters here on board the Battleship Wisconsin. They were here waiting for the war to start. They wanted to be here, take pictures and video when the war started. They finally left, I guess it was around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So as soon as all the media left for that day, Captain Bill came on the 1MC, that's the ship's interior communications system. And Captain Bill told us all that we were going to launch missiles during the midwatch that night. Everyone in the Gulf, all the ships in the Gulf, we were going to launch missiles. That was the night, that was the start of the air war. So we had dinner. There was a lot of buzz talking about the upcoming war because we knew it was starting, getting excited, getting ready for it. And then later on, it kind of sunk in where, going to war. It's a very serious business. I wrote this letter. I tried to get some sleep. I laid in my rack for a while, but it didn't really work. I ended up coming up here at my general quarters station real early. We hadn't gone to general quarters yet, so there wasn't a lot of hustle and bustle up here. There were a few people milling about waiting like I was for general quarters. I got some deck logs here. So many years ago, I requested from the National Archives the deck logs from Battleship Wisconsin during the war. So I'm going to go through some of this with you just to give you a time frame as what we were talking about here. The deck log shows us the type of ship, which is BB, hull number is 64, the year, the month, the zone, the day, USS Wisconsin, we are at the Arabian Gulf. Now, tidbit of information for you. It's referred to as the Persian Gulf, but when you refer to something as the Persian Gulf, you're giving ownership to Persia. Persia is an old name for Iraq, and the U.S. government wasn't comfortable giving Iraq ownership of the Persian Gulf at the time, so we had to refer to it as the Arabian Sea. So all deck logs you'll see where it says Arabian Sea, we're actually in the Persian Gulf. But the first entry here, 0048, general quarters to launch Tomahawk missiles to deter any more Iraqi aggression. 0051, set interior condition zebra throughout the ship. 0052 and then 0055, Lieutenant JG someone and a Lieutenant someone relieved as the con and the decking off, the officer of the deck. 0057, the ship is manned and ready for general quarters, material condition zebra set. We went from 0048 when general quarters was called to 0057, where it took 9 minutes it took to batten down all the hatches and get everyone to their general quarters station to get ready to launch missiles. We have here the USS Foster at 0136, bears 1,200 yards at a 069 degrees, 7 nautical miles from us. USS Foster, according to our deck logs, so a lot of people have this question, like who was the first one to fire who was the first one to fire missiles? According to our deck log at 0148, the USS Foster launched 7 Tomahawk missiles off our starboard bow. Because there's always been question. We were, of course, supposed to be the very first ship to fire missiles, but due to a change in targets for us, they had to push us off our launching because they had to reset the coordinates for the Tomahawk missiles. So we didn't get to fire the very first set of Tomahawk missiles. It turned out to be the USS Foster. Shortly thereafter, at 0152, the USS Bunker Hill fired Tomahawk missiles. And then at 0211 in the morning, 2:11 in the morning, we were on a course of 010, moving at 1.5 knots, and we got a 3-minute warning until launching the Tomahawk missile. And then at 0214, Tomahawk missile 1 to port side. 0216, we launched another Tomahawk missile, and so on and so forth. By the time we were finished, we had launched 7 missiles by 2:30 in the morning, and that was the start of the air war and the start of Desert Storm. A short time later on, the Marine Corps and the Army moved across the desert to start the ground war, and then we were home before anybody knew it. So that's why we're here today. It's a special place for me. Battleship Wisconsin is a very special place for me. This area here is where I worked, where I stood watch when we fired the Tomahawk missiles that first time. So I want to thank you all for visiting us here today on this virtual adventure. Again, it's a special day coming up. Come join us on the actual anniversary of the Desert Storm, of the start of Desert Storm, this coming Sunday, the 17th. We have special programming going on board this ship. We're going to talk about the missiles, anything you ever wanted to know about Tomahawk missiles that we launched at Iraq. I got crew members here. They're going to talk about that. I think they're doing some stuff in education about the RPV. The RPV is the remote piloted vehicle that battleships flew for naval gunfire support. Battleship Wisconsin's RPV actually took prisoners. So if you want to learn that story, come visit us and tell you all about it. Very, very proud of that fact. And then also I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to my shipmates and a big welcome home to my shipmates and all the men and women that have served and are serving in the military today. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your service. And finally, welcome home. Thank you.